Hello and welcome to this video on how to love your body for empaths and sensitive women. My name is Vicky Young, owner and coach at theinneralchemist.co, where I support strong, sensitive women to heal their stories of low self-worth and step into aligned and authentic living. We do this through deepening our connection with the divine feminine, our spiritual connection with ourselves, and also through body awareness, womb awareness, and menstrual and menopause awareness. And I really wanted to come in and talk about this topic, how to love your body today, because I spend a lot of time with women in one-on-one spaces, in group settings, in Red 10 circles, and in my personal life. And this is a universal and recurring theme that comes up time after time. This challenging and complex relationship that we as women have with our physical bodies. And I know that I've been through this myself. It's been a big, big part of my own journey. I completely understand it and empathize with it. And I really want to talk about it today on a spiritual level. So our relationship with our body is normally a cornerstone to our self-esteem and our self-worth. So if you're struggling with a negative body image or you're really critical of yourself and your body, then the chances are that you are dealing with low self-worth and low self-esteem on some level. Negative body image and then in turn low self-esteem then creates a situation where women are trying to mold themselves or to be something that they think they should be in order to be seen as valuable and worthy. And this leads to all those problematic behaviors like the people pleasing and not honoring our own needs. And more than that, you might feel so terrified of making a mistake or being judged by other people because you're already judging yourself so harshly that you're too afraid to take any risks. And this is really the core of what creates inauthentic living. And I know I lived this for decades myself, where I was just so afraid of making a mistake or of being proven to be, the failure that I already perceived myself as, this big imposter syndrome complex, that it led to living in ways that were not aligned and not authentic to my soul. So most people, and I've also done this, will look at the solution outside of themselves. So they will look at the fact that they have a negative body image or a low self-esteem that's in some way linked to the body. And they'll think that they need to fix this by fixing the perceived problem in the body. Okay. And they feel that if they get the body up to the standard, which is normally society standard, the perception of the male gaze, then once their body is raised up to that standard, then they are allowed to feel worthy or to value themselves. And this is such a flimsy foundation for true and lasting self-worth and knowing your worth and having this strong sense of self. Because if you really want to heal your relationship with your body and then in turn heal so many other aspects of your life and aspects of being a woman, then you have to go from the inside out. You have to heal the core issues with your self-worth and your self-esteem. And that will then allow you to heal your relationship with your body. And once you have healed your relationship with your body, because most of us don't have a relationship with our body, we don't know how to listen to our body. Once you've healed that relationship, you are then able to heal the physical body itself because you're able to tune in to what the body is trying to tell you. And then you're able to give the body what it needs. So I want to go on this journey with you today, okay? This journey of healing the relationship with the body and then in turn being able to heal the body. And this starts with looking at something called body identification. So body identification is when we believe that we are the body. Now, this is the case for most people. They are fully identified with the body. They are fully identified with the physical world. And if you've been on a spiritual journey for a while, you might know about this, but if you're new to it, it's a case of believing that we are the body and that our value lies in the physical world. Okay. Now, body identification comes from a deeper wound, a deeper level of unawareness, which is a lack of mind awareness. A lack of mind awareness is what creates identification with the body and identification with the physical world. And mind awareness is really just knowing your mind as separate from your true self, as separate from the soul. But when we don't have mind awareness, then we are unconsciously identified with the mind. So being identified with the mind means that we have thoughts going all the time. All of us do. But if you're fully identified with the mind, then you are, first of all, not even probably aware of those thoughts. The voice is just going all the time. And secondly, you're believing every single thing that your mind is telling you, that those thoughts are rattling off. And the mind tells us that we are the body, that our identity, our value, and our worth lies outside of ourselves. So this would look like, I am Vicky, I'm 5'7", I do this for a living, I look like this, I sound like this, I have this much money in my bank account. And those criteria are what make me worthy or unworthy. Okay. Now this can be heightened in empaths and sensitives because we have these extra sensitive physiological responses like the sensitive nervous system, like the sensitivity to emotion and thought. This identification can actually become a lot stronger. I know it was the case for me. And this is when we develop, a heavy, what Eckhart Tolle calls pain body, which is all of the accumulated, unprocessed emotion that lives in the body. And we develop things like anxiety and depression and just a really unhealthy state of being. Now, the standards that the body has to meet when you're fully identified with the body, when you're unconsciously identified with the mind, the standards that the body has to meet become very rigid and very narrow, especially for us as women. We are being viewed through the male gaze, which is the gaze of society. And in order to be seen as valuable and seen as worthy, you then have to be young, fertile, thin, this size boobs, this kind of skin, this kind of hair. And this is what is perpetuated to us and ends up as being the definition of our value. And then on the other side of that, all of these other beautiful feminine parts of being a woman become rejected, become labeled as low value or unworthy. So things like having extra fat on our body that supports life, or having stretch marks from our life transitions that we go through as women, or menopause, or, the age that brings wisdom. All of this stuff becomes rejected and gets labeled as low value, and in turn then reflects on how we value ourselves. And we're really denying some of the most beautiful, some of the most feminine, some of the most deep and ancient parts of what it really means to be a woman. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that now. So when our awareness is completely placed in the physical space, what happens is that we are disconnected from our true nature, our divine nature, which is the soul. So our awareness is in the mind. The mind tells us we are the body, and there's no space for us to know ourselves as the soul and to create the space for that soul's expression. So the journey back to healing our self-worth is actually through the body, but it's to know yourself as much, much, much more than the body or the mind. You are the embodiment of the divine feminine, of the goddess. And in order to love your body, you first need to know yourself as the soul, as the divine being that is incarnated here on earth to have this human experience. It is trying to navigate this world with a physical body. And the soul, the real you, is pure love. It can only view the world through a lens of love. So when you are able to drop into that awareness and know yourself as the soul, and you become the soul, the awareness that views the body, this beautiful, miraculous, energetic entity with its own intelligence that you inhabit, you are only able to view the body through that same lens of love that you are. I hope this is making sense. Drop in the comments if this is resonating with you. But if you are able to really view the body through the lens of the soul, then you will be able to love your body and yourself completely. So for healing in the feminine consciousness, we also need to take a journey, and it's a deep topic, a topic for another video, and I'll do one, I promise you. But it's this journey into knowing ourselves as the embodiment of the divine feminine aspect of consciousness and the goddess. This is our journey as women. Men have their own journey with the divine feminine, but ours is to come to know ourselves as the human embodiment of this. And from that space, we are able to drop our egoic conditioning, all the beliefs that we have about ourselves, about what the body is, what the body should be, what we are, what we should be. And we are able to fall in love with and appreciate the power and the beauty of the feminine form. And then you can take that one step further, because when you are able to honor and love the feminine form within yourself, you will find that you begin to honor and love that feminine form in all the women around you. You are able to recognize yourself in them and you and them in you. You are able to see all these different manifestations of consciousness, of the divine feminine, of the goddess. And then you are really able to anchor in and connect into the beauty of the body. So how do we reprogram and heal this dynamic between body, mind, and soul? This is a multifaceted process that brings in what I was talking about with body awareness and mind awareness. So it's knowing yourself as the soul, and then bringing yourself, your awareness as the witness, the observer, to the body and the mind, and allowing those to all flow together into this experience that you're having here on earth. So you need to create space between you, the soul, and the energetic entity that is the mind, that is your sacred gift and sacred tool to facilitate your experience here on earth. And you need to create space between you, the soul, and the energetic entity that is the body, that is the sacred vessel through which you are having this experience here on earth. Now, the best way that I have found to do this is actually through the body, and I'm going to tell you why. Most of us have most of our awareness in the mind space all the time, and the mind is telling us all of the stories about the body. But when you drop your awareness into the body, you immediately cut yourself off from those mental stories about the body. So the body then drops into an energy of being. Now, the energy of the body is that of the earth energy. It is a much more grounded and a much slower energy, a much more dense energy than the energy of the mind. The energy of the mind is the element of air. This is an upward, light moving energy, and it gains momentum quite quickly. So when your awareness is in the mind, it's a lot easier for your mind to run away with you. You may have heard that expression, my mind is running away with me. And that's because the energy of air, the energy that is the mind, gains momentum really, really quickly and really, really easily. So it doesn't need a lot of awareness to go up there for it to suck up all the awareness and then sometimes feedback into the emotional body as well. When you put your awareness into the physical body, it's dense and it's slow. And you'll notice with grounding, if you do a grounding practice, it takes some attention, it takes some commitment to keep your awareness in the body. But because this energy is earth and water, and it's slower and it's downward moving, it allows you that slowness to create that space between yourself and the body and between yourself and the mind. There are lots of different ways to do this. I have so many tools that I share with people, from yoga to Ayurveda to meditation to womb and menstrual awareness. I mean, the list just goes on, but the simplest and most effective way that I want to share with you right now is to come in through the breath. The breath is our lifeline and our anchor into the body. It's so simple. It's always there. And the breath is also the thread that connects the soul and the body. The breath is the thread that connects life, consciousness, all that is, to one another, and it draws us in to our body. So a practice that I would love to give you today with which to start loving your body and to start forming this relationship with your body by knowing yourself as the soul having the experience inside the body is to go and practice some conscious breathing. 7 breaths cycle works really, really well. And once you're really anchored into the body and you've created that space, bring an observation, a witnessing to the body as its own energetic entity, and start to just notice the miracle that your body is. How many times have you taken a breath in your lifetime without even noticing? How many times has your heart beat in your lifetime without you having to do anything? There's a life force and intelligence running through your body all the time, and you don't have to do anything to make that happen. And spending time meditating on that, even meditating on the blood that is running through your body, the veins that are pumping, the organs that are working, it can really bring us into a deep and ancient relationship or remembering with the body. And you can just spend some time thinking about all the experiences that you and your body have had together, all the things your body has allowed you to experience in this dimension. There's an affirmation that I share with my clients that I would love to end off with you now, that you can take with you into this meditation. And it's to make a commitment to yourself and to your body. And the affirmation is, I am committed to loving every inch of my body exactly as it is right now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I would love to hear if this resonated with you. You can drop comments in the comments section. You can hit subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.